With the release of Marvel's Capcom Infinite and Injustice 2, it really got me thinking, where are all the superhero games? I mean, sure, Telltale made the Guardians of the Galaxy game, MVCI is made by Capcom, Spider-Man is being done by Insomniac, and the Avengers game is being done by Square Enix, but with as big as the cinematic universes are for Marvel and DC, the games don't really reflect that. So I compiled a list of the top 10 superheroes I'd like to see with a few honorable mentions. So without further ado, let's get started. Standing at number 10 on our list, we have Jonah Hex. For those of you not familiar with the anti-hero, Jonah Hex is a Civil War veteran turned bounty hunter, with one of his most notable features being his disfigured face. So we have a disfigured bounty hunter who was left for dead, with the story taking place in the Wild West. Yeah, this is a Rockstar game written all over it. Unfortunately, with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out and Rockstar's development cycles being insanely long, I doubt we'll see this game anytime soon. Though I'm surprised Warner Brothers hasn't at least talked to them about it given the success of Red Dead Redemption. I mean, really just slap Jonah Hex into it and you pretty much have the game. But Jonah Hex is an extremely underrated character, and the gaming industry could always use more Western type cowboy games. Next, we have Captain America, and man does he need a game. The Captain America trilogy is probably my favorite out of the entire MCU, and he is long overdue for a tried and true video game that isn't tied to any movie. But who should make it? I feel that for Captain America's playstyle, the game should be a third person and openish kind of world, not a huge open world like Batman Arkham Knight or Skyrim, but a densely populated area of a decent size with many places to explore would be interesting. Or it could be a mission based with Cap infiltrating different bases for various reasons, fighting Hydra or AIM, but that still leaves a question of who the developer should be. I feel that for this type of game, the developers for the Captain America Super Soldier game were kinda on the mark in some areas. The gameplay wasn't bad, but with some decent funding and a larger team and more creative freedom, they could make a truly great Captain America game. When it comes to a game featuring magic and a powerful sorceress, there's no character better suited than Zatanna. Zatanna, like Jonah Hex, is a very underrated hero. She's one of the most powerful magic users in the DC universe, and if there's a spell for it, odds are Zatanna knows it. I think the perfect developer for her would maybe Eidos Montreal. I think they could make a great game, and they are masters at world building as we saw with Deus Ex. I believe they would be perfect to build up the magic and sorcery side of the DC universe, something we don't see that much. Added with the variety of spells she has at her disposal, we could get a great game on our hands. Hell, they could set the stage for a Constantine game also. Black Widow needs a game. She hasn't had a movie as of the time of this video, but a covert ops espionage style of game featuring one of the best assassins in the Marvel universe kind of writes itself. Infiltrating different bases, gathering intel, going undercover, the possibilities are endless. If Ubisoft can keep their greed to a minimum, they would be perfect for this type of game. We haven't had a Splinter Cell game in a while, and Black Widow would be perfect for that style of gameplay. There could even be a special mission where you team up with Hawkeye or Elektra to go against supervillains. And honestly, I think the gaming industry is dying for more espionage style games. Seriously, get on this. Okay, so if you've ever watched Justice League Unlimited, one of my favorite all-time heroes was The Question. The Question is one of the best detectives in the DC universe, resourceful, witty, intelligent, and his instincts always have him pondering his next move. Question doesn't have any powers, but that's what makes it so cool. This could be a tried and true detective game. No added abilities or gadgets like the Arkham games, just your pure intellect and intuition to solve the cases. I would recommend this one to Telltale, but honestly, I'll give this one to Rockstar as well. LA Noire shows how creative they can be with detective style scenarios, and since The Question operates outside of the law, we could get some interesting interrogation methods. Standing at number 5, we have Luke Cage. The Luke Cage Netflix series is honestly one of my favorite parts of the MCU next to Captain America. Equally entertaining while also bringing up some pretty heavy topics. The best developer for this kind of game would be Sucker Punch. They've done great work with the Infamous series and dealing with the morality system, so they can implement that into Luke Cage because that is something he constantly wrestles with. Remember, Luke Cage is known for his Heroes for Hire with Danny Rand, the Iron Fist. So when you're presented with a job, your choices and what you do for them can define how people see you and change the ending based on your choices. Luke Cage has a very standard power set, so getting his powers to work wouldn't be that much of an issue. Hell, you can have certain missions where you team up with the Defenders depending on the requests. Though I would personally love to see more of the dynamic Luke has with Jessica Jones and Danny Rand, something I think Sucker Punch can definitely shed some light on. Why Wonder Woman hasn't had a video game yet is beyond me. She's one of the founding members of the Justice League, part of the Trinity with Batman and Superman, and she is one of, if not the most iconic female superhero of all time. But she has no video game? Hell, she never had an animated series like Superman and Batman did in the 90s, and she's only had like 2 animated movies and 1 live action movie. Well, at the time of this video anyway. She deserves a game, and I think Rocksteady would be perfect for a game based around her. They already laid the foundation with the Arkham combat, so simply retooling that so it allows for more action and player expression would be ideal. Or hell, you could give it to Itsuno's team at Capcom. They did great with the combat for Devil May Cry 3 and 4. Utilizing Wonder Woman with that style of combat would be interesting given all her combat abilities. Point is, Diana needs a game, and DC really needs to get on that. You know the Teen Titans will make this list. The Teen Titans are part of my childhood, and I'm sure that sentiment goes for many other people. Teen Titans blended action, comedy, drama, romance perfectly, and while I don't care for Teen Titans Go, I think Young Justice is a great successor to the show, and I would love to see a game made featuring characters from both. But who should make it? Well, this might sound crazy, but I give it to Blizzard. I mean, Overwatch already is a hero-based team game. Remove the loot boxes, add in different combat abilities, give the game a single player, maybe make it third person, or make it be able to switch between first and third person, and we pretty much got a Teen Titans game. It's still peculiar this hasn't happened already in some form, given how popular they are as a comic book hero team. Okay, so Static Shock was probably my favorite show growing up next to the #1 spot. Static, yes, his name is Static, is probably one of the best teenage superheroes DC has. One of the best things I loved about the character is a lot of him reminded me of Spider-Man, but he was also unique and stood out in his own way. Sucker Punch or Insomniac should make this game. Insomniac has already proven they're doing a great job with the Spider-Man game, and Sucker Punch could also do a great job because of the reasons I mentioned with Luke Cage. Static is coming back for Young Justice Season 3, and he actually is getting a new set of comics, which is the most attention the character has got in a while, but a game would really revitalize interest in the character. Not to mention the theme for that TV show is so goddamn catchy. Oh, come on. You knew the X-Men would be the #1 spot. The X-Men are my favorite comics by far. The X-Men have great villains, heroes, locales, and the warring ideologies between Professor X and Magneto make the series stand out as Marvel's best, bar none. They have a huge team of heroes from various backgrounds and powers, but with a team of this much size, diversity, and playstyles, who can make this game? Well, Atlas. Hear me out. Alice may seem like a weird choice, but they're perfect for the job. The X-Men function as a team, so emphasizing that with tactical turn-based strategy found in Persona and Shin Megami Tensei would be perfect. Now obviously the X-Men won't have any personas, but their abilities could function in the same way they did. For example, you take advantage in exploiting enemy weaknesses. Some could be weak to the Optic Blast by Cyclops, others could be weak to Wolverine's Claws or Storm's Lightning. And when you're not doing missions, you could be exploring the Xavier Mansion. The mansion could serve as a place you train, and you can also spend time to get to know your teammates, and this game could use its version of social links because we know they'd probably be in there. Persona 5 more or less looked like a comic book brought to life, and a similar style with the X-Men would be perfect. We haven't had any X-Men games in a long time, and I would love for them to make a comeback. But that's all for now. Leave a comment on what superhero or villain you would like to see, and whose developer you think that should make it, and I'll catch you guys next time.